Hello, I'm Skid, and today I'm going to be giving you a look at the multi-monitor support for Cities Skylines II. This game is obviously a city builder, and we will address the performance issues shortly, but first things first, we must start where we always do, multi-monitor support. Before I begin, there will be chapters in the seek bar, so you can skip around if there are particular sections you are not interested in, and those chapters are derived from timestamps in the video description. So, it's multi-monitor support. Basically, it works out the box. If we come into the graphics settings, it will pick up your desktop resolution quite happily here and display it as it should do. And then if we start again, let's just pick a random place. I have a map that we will use. If I tell it to continue, then hopefully that won't reset things. Then we will see that the game is also horizontal plus. The UI is spanned across all three screens, but it's not usually too much of an issue. The main portion of the UI is still in the center of the screen. We will highlight where my three screens are, and you'll notice that this little bit here is being cut off and this bit here is as well, because I think this section here is optimized for 21:9. We also then have a bunch of options all the way on the left-hand side and all the way on the right-hand side that are inconvenient. But it's not too big of a deal. Unfortunately, we can't move these. I would like to have these pinned here, so they appear here, but in the grand scheme of things, this isn't a game where you need to be able to access that information quickly anyway. So yeah, multi-monitor support is good. Performance, however, is not. I have put up a very janky frames per second counter that I've pulled from the AMD thing. So we'll quickly address the performance issues. I'm obviously running this at a resolution that is the equivalent to 3/4 of a 4K display or 3 times a 1080p display, because that's what this setup is. So bear that in mind, but I am running it on the AMD RX 7900 XTX. So basically the top of the line AMD graphics card, and I'm getting 60 frames per second at the minute when it's not really rendering anything. To give a better indication of how bad the performance is, I'm going to zoom in and look very intently at this piece of grass, and you'll notice that the frame rate is still 60 frames per second. It's rendering nothing. This may not be flat, but it is going to be a fairly simple texture, very easy tessellated mesh, and it's running at 60 frames per second. Now, it would be a lot worse if I hadn't disabled a bunch of options. So you can get better performance out of this game, but yeah, the devs have admitted that it's not great at the minute, and they want to sort that. The performance is not where they want it to be. So first thing to disable depth of field. There's 2 of these. If we turn them on, we will notice our frame rate will tank pretty significantly. There we go, we're now sub 50. I will disable them. Depth of field I think is a terrible thing. I consider it just as bad as motion blur, because depth of field basically changes the way in which things in the distance are in or out of focus. The problem is, the game doesn't know where you actually want to be looking, so it just assumes that X or an arbitrary point is where your focus actually is, which then prevents you from focusing on what's in the background if that's what you want to do. I mean, it's fine in cutscenes, but yeah, I find depth of field just in general gameplay to be absolutely horrendous. The other thing you'll want to bring down is volumetric quality settings. If we disable it, we will get a few extra frames per second, but the killer is if you put it on medium or high. And once again, we've lost about 10 frames per second. So yeah, volumetrics is another one, and then global illumination is again another one that will really eat your frame rate. This one does a significant number on it. It's gone down to 41. So you can set these on low. They're not too taxing on low, but if you turn them off entirely, then you'll get a few extra frames per second. Is there anything else? No. Otherwise, everything else I have it set to high, which I believe is as high as it will go. And yeah, I'm getting 60 frames per second while looking at a flat texture. Not good. Not good at all. But the devs say that, they've acknowledged that, the performance is not where they want it to be, and that they are going to work on it. They also say that they are targeting 30 frames per second. That's not inherently a bad thing. I do kind of agree with them that a game like this doesn't need to be running at a constant 60 frames per second, but what it does need to be doing is it needs to be running at a smooth 30. If it's not running at a smooth 30, then it's going to look absolutely terrible. And we will notice that you will see that I have the 90th percentile on the screen as well. That's going to drop well below 30 when we actually get to playing. So speaking of which, let's actually do that. Let me pull up my actual city, or rather my my large village that I was messing around with yesterday, and we will go over the gameplay itself. So here is my, I think it's large village. Yes, we're at a large village. So the way that this game works is that obviously it's a city builder. You're going to be mapping out your city, putting down districts, allocating particular zones to be particular types of buildings. And you will see now the frame rate has tanked like no one's business, just by changing the colour scheme and having this overlay. So yeah, you allocate what districts you want or what zones you want based upon the needs of the village or needs of your town, city, or whatever size you're currently working on. You need to make sure that everything has water, electricity, and then provide it with other services. As you're going through, you will be gaining EXP. This is how you unlock new features and how you basically progress in the game. These will unlock milestones through progressions. Each milestone will give you a chunk of money and potentially unlock some additional features. We've just unlocked basically the ability to have, I think it's specialized industries. Yeah, specialized industries. We also unlocked fire and rescue and the police administration before we started. So this is how you're going to progress. And how you get access to new things. When you get a new milestone, it will also give you two other things. It will give you expansion permits, and it will give you development points. Expansion permits allow you to buy new chunks of land. So if we click on this here, this will allow us to buy new chunks of land to expand our city out into. This is the entire map that we've chosen. I forget which one this is. Is this the archipelago? Not sure. Can't remember which map I'm on. But yeah, you can then select which ones you want. It will tell you how much it's going to cost you, how many permits it will use to buy them, and then you can purchase them. We will be doing that in a bit because I do know what I'm going to be doing. The other thing that is kind of important is it will also give you development points. Development points are used to unlock additional building types within each of the individual utilities. So we don't have access to transportation yet, we'll get that later, but if we come to electricity, we start with basic electricity services. This will give us access to our basic power infrastructure, wind turbines, and small coal power plants. If we want to build anything more advanced, we need to buy it with development points. There's two routes in this tree. We obviously have the non-green option up at the top and the green options down at the bottom, and you would spend your development points to unlock the ability to then craft these. And the same would be true for all of these, for water, for health, for garbage management, education, fire and rescue, and police administration. So that basically covers the core aspect of the game. We will have a look because I wanted to build, if I come up over here, we'll get our overlays. I want the resource overlay. Resources. Okay. So this area here is basically arable land. We had some arable land here, but it was part of the existing roadway. So I can't really build here, but yeah, I want to build an industry that will then use this land here. So I think, let me use my permits to buy those. And now where is... Here it is, specialised industry. Specialised industry areas can be built wherever naturally relevant resources are. Companies operating in these areas will gather resources and transport them to either be used within the city or to be exported outside. Active specialised areas will make your city more attractive to industries that can make use of these materials, or these specific materials. This means that you will start to see more relevant industries appearing in the industrial zones. When you select a specialisation type, the relevant natural resources are highlighted on the map. You can also turn on the highlights in different views from the info view, which is what I showed you earlier. Choose the type of specialisation according to the type of resources you have available on the map. Place a hub building close to the relevant resources. The circle around the hub shows how far the building can extend the area. Remember that the hub building needs a road connection in front of the building and that you cannot build roads inside the area. So, okay, so we can't actually build grain yet. So we can't. We've been given access to C because we didn't actually have access to the natural resources button until we reached milestone 3. But looking at it, we can't actually use the resource until we reach milestone 4. The only thing we could do is start livestock farming. Which might be something we can do anyway. If we put the livestock farm here, or a livestock farm here, then when we do get grain farm, we can put that here, and that will hopefully allow the two to supply each other. Maybe. Where is the road connection needed for this? Right at the front, okay. So the plan is that I'm probably going to pull another road off of here to connect to these two. Oh right, yeah, I forgot that's how that works. You place the front side of the building and then it lets you build the back side of the building. Way to construct things. You can always expand this later. Off. Okay, so that's going to need a road there. We're also going to need a road for this one over here at some point. We need to pull them off the highway, but we don't really have the right roads to be doing that. Let me just turn this back on a second so I can see where that is. If I just pull the road off here, I would need to get access to the highway node if I wanted to have an actual off-ramp. Which might be worth doing. We'll see if we can get away without it for now. Ah yeah, and we can use this to change the area for the specialization. Okay, so let's see. If that's there, then I want to pull a road off of here. Okay, let's curve this and bring it up. quite so aggressively. Back down. Okay, gives them an on and an off ramp. It's not pretty, but it'll do. And then we need to... What's your range again? That actually be curved. It's my fault for leaving it uncurved. So yeah, you can have multiple different types of roads. At the minute I'm just using straights and curves, but you can also then use continuous curves which work a little bit more like that. So you don't have to have a straight city if you don't want to. 90 degrees? That's not 90 degrees. Should have started from down here rather than up there. It also doesn't help that this is actually not... There we go. It's not as straight as I would like it to be. Okay, let's unpause. Define an area. Start the edge in buildings, place the node checkpoints. And we already know what the area tool is. So let's expand this out a little bit more.
Second Moon Radio with your host, J. Thomas Hornbuckle. Tune in tomorrow for a second chance to hear the music of yesteryear.
I do like that it gives you the angles of the corners, so we can see down there that's a nice right angle. Hopefully that's enough room. Okay, so this doesn't have power. This isn't connected to the road here. There we go. The power lines aren't currently being provided over to here. We can bring them over from that. Or we could connect this road up to that. I think we might do that, bring this road around. I don't think that power plant can have... expanded any further. Overlapping what? How about you overlapping the power pole? So close. go. That should connect power to here. Let's give this place some nearby housing. Give the residents some industrial. Not industrial, commercial. Okay. Problems with this particular, or this area particularly, is they might be out of range of education. They are. Okay. Gonna need some public transport eventually, and we can probably fix that. For the time being, then it's just gonna be a low education area. Where do I want to put police and fire? Having the fire somewhere around about the industrial area seems like a good idea. I think I might pull off the road from here and connect it over to here, and then we can have a section here. That might be the way to do it. I'm not going for a particularly organised city at the minute. It's going to be a fair bit of organised chaos. Let's undo that. Let's go back to the spline one. The spline one's probably going to work better here. It makes no sense, and I love it. There we go. With this in mind, this road here is probably the best place to put our emergency services on. Fire and rescue services respond to fires and accidents and prevent fires from spreading and safeguard citizens against disaster. Let's pause for a second. They also search for survivors in collapsed buildings after a disaster. Fire-damaged buildings can quickly spread to other nearby buildings. I really should make that a double road. To ensure the quickest response times, make sure roads stay clear and there are enough fire engines available. Firehouses and fire stations house a number of fire engines. Fire engines are able to extinguish fires. Buildings that have been damaged but have not collapsed will be repaired automatically. The cost of repairs is taken from the residents' rent. If a building burns down and collapses, it will automatically be cleared after time. A new building will get placed. You can always demolish buildings. Fire safety. Average fire hazard, 100%. The likelihood of fires in a city depends on the fire hazard level. You can increase fire safety in your city and its citizens by making sure all areas have good coverage. This means having enough firehouses and stations in close proximity and upgrading them as needed. There are also policies that can activate it to increase building safety. So, this isn't actually anywhere near as big a building as I thought it was going to be. I could drop these in here somewhere. But if I plop that on there, then it has full coverage of basically the entire of the map at the minute. So, let's have fire there, and let's have crime next to it. Crime is an unfortunate downside of building a community. The purpose of law enforcement is both to prevent crimes as well as catch criminals. Police stations and headquarters send out police cars to patrol the city and respond to criminal activity. Apprehended criminals are brought in and kept in holding cells to wait for further processing such as trial. Low overall well-being and unemployment increases the likelihood of citizens becoming criminals. In order to in addition to investing in police forces, also make sure your citizens are doing well in order to prevent crime. Okay, and if need be, we can upgrade these buildings. Gives an extended garage. Extended garage allows us to have more fire engines. Let's just confirm that we do in fact have proper police coverage. Fire and rescue, disaster control, there you are, police. Okay, there's this section here that might be a bit problematic. That's a good point. We was going to make this a double road, which we can do simply by clicking this button here to replace the road. We can also select which side it's going to expand on, which is nice. I want it to expand on this side. Okay. Let's add a roundabout to there because it makes sense. Okay, we can always expand this as an industrial area, but there's going to be a lot of noise pollution and stuff over here. So expanding this industrial might not be a good idea. We do need more commercial though. So maybe I'll zone this commercial and then we can zone this residential as needed. Let's zone this commercial. Need more low density residential as well. Actually no, change of plan. Can I pause for a second? How do I... Is it possible to... Ah yes, right mouse button. I might make these medium density when it comes to it. So instead we'll use this lot here for low density. Principally for traffic reasons. Yeah, because now they want some medium density. I wonder which one is better. If it's just a style thing. Oh, we never built out this area here either. We've allocated space but not used it. But yeah, basically this is the game. We do have a lot more control over things that we ordinarily didn't do in the previous game. For example, we're actually selling our spare electricity out on the grid. When we set up this power plant here, we connected it to this external line here, and that allows us to then export any electricity over what we're using out to other areas. So we are making some money from selling our electricity, but at the minute we are still very much not making a profit, but that's kind of expected for a small village. Okay, air pollution is affecting citizens' health. Air pollution creates mainly from industrial area. Find air pollution buildings and consider upgrading them with filtration systems, or you can relocate buildings.
We urge the public to remain
Navigate
calm
to
during
the
these breaks
air
in
pollution
service and
info
to
view.
follow the guidelines on the city's website on how to plan for these temporary events. This has been a local public service announcement. Local authorities are urging the public to conserve water and reduce the burden on the city during this water shortage. Consider installing a low-flush toilet, cut back on watering the lawn, and shower with a friend whenever possible. This has been a local public service announcement.
So
You're listening
that's
to
something. Let me
Second
pause that for a
Movie
moment.
Station for the
That's something that is useful but is fundamentally broken. I've seen a number of times it's saying, "Ooh, we don't have enough water," or "Ooh, the healthcare system isn't good enough." And I've checked things, and it's like, this is supplying 100%. There's like no one waiting. Everyone is being served, and then we have plenty of water. If we come over to our water view, our water availability, we still have plenty of it. But no, it's telling us that we're short on water. We're not. The other thing that does this is Chirper. Here we go. Appalled at how #healthcare is run in this city. You never know when you're going to get treated. We have one clinic that is running nowhere near capacity. Nowhere near. We have 6 patients out of 100. No vehicles in use. It has ambulances. It has space for patients. Apparently the healthcare is crap. If we look at... They may actually have a slight more point, but this was happening before all the upgrades we made. Because I bet now... Yeah, this area up here is out of range, which is fair enough. But it was telling me that even when, it's like you saw my original city and we had this section here, all green, everything's fine. It was still telling me that healthcare was appalling. Literally nothing else I could do about it. Plenty of supply, no demand, and it's telling me that it's crap. So yeah, when they fix that system, it will be really useful, but at the minute it's given us warnings that simply do not exist. What I find interesting is why this section here is apparently undersupplied. Okay. I didn't think about the air pollution of this area here, so we may have to... undesignate these areas. Make them parks or something. Yeah, that's interesting. Why does healthcare just suddenly die here? I mean, obviously this bit here is fine because the they can come up to the road and go around. But it's now still nice and green here. Let's put the music back on. Oh yes, I forgot we can change the radio station. We can also put our own music in here.
cultural sophisticate who doesn't fear extending their ears to the
Choose
more
the tunes to listen
challenging
to.
of the
Radio
classical
Next
genre.
network
Let
is
us
here. Each
move now
network
from
has a
the
selection of
musical
stations
page
to choose
to
from.
the literary.
Radio stations are available in
Here
networks.
we have some
to listen from here.
perfectly angry
Adjust the volume.
correspondence from a listener.
Don't like commercials
My
interrupting
dear
music, you can turn off the ads
Professor
here.
Hornbuckle, whereas I'm
I wonder why this section here. Again, complaints about the noise. If we look on over at our noise pollution, it's really not that bad at the minute. It's bad up here, but that's the industrial zone. You'd expect it. The residential and all that lot is fine. So they need to tune those. Now that's something that doesn't appear to be doing anything. No car access, but you told me it was connected. was informed that this was okay. Then again, it didn't put the building there. What went wrong? No, the building is there. But the building is not there. The road must be close enough but not actually connected to it, which is weird. There's something definitely wrong here. The road does not reach the vehicle entry or exit point. Pedestrian path connection is required. Okay, does this need something else? The building is still missing though. It knows the building is supposed to be there, but for whatever reason, we can't select it. We also can't build the road into it. This does not make sense. The road does not reach the vehicle entrance or exit point. I'm going to demolish it because it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing anyway. I wonder if that's the problem, the fact that it can't be on the end of the road. It has to be on an actual straight bit. If we do that and then we put this down. There we go. Stupid thing. We fixed it. Okay, so we are going to need better medical cover. Can't really put it there, that would be a bad idea. Let's have it over here, and we'll have a another primary school over here as well, because we can then expand out from this area here. It wants to be on the lower side because we're going to be using the upper side. Yeah. Okay. So let's go for another one of these here, and then put a school not directly next to it, but a little further down. We need a few more industrial. Given that this area is polluted anyway, let's use these ones here. And we're going to need, we don't need, but we should make use of the space that we have. So let's bring curved road over here. Actually no, because that's the dump. We have this space here, don't we? Choices. Anyway, we've covered roughly what we wanted to, so we will leave it there. Obviously, this game is a lot like the original game. That said, if you have the original game and all the DLC for it, I don't know why you'd want to buy this game. The performance in this game is obviously not great. They want to fix that. If you're running it on triple monitor system, then you absolutely are going to need a high-end card to run it. So, probably worth waiting a bit, I would say. Either until they have some more DLC or until they fix the performance issues, depending on whether or not you own the original or the DLC, or just own the original base game. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back again on Monday when we'll be starting our Terraria playthrough. So hopefully, we'll see you next time. Cheerio.